Judge a man by his questions, not by his answers. This statement was said by French writer and philosopher Voltaire. You might be thinking this sounds a little bit backwards, or maybe you're thinking you don't want to take advice from a guy whose hair that's like that is like that. However, Voltaire's advice was something that led many scientists and philosophers and teachers to new discoveries throughout history. Because with that advice, we can learn to be curious. In life, sometimes the questions we ask can be more important than the answers we obtain, and often pave the way for the answers we need as a person, a class, a community, or even as part of a society. Empathy and curiosity are two driving forces in the world. We must seek to know so that we can understand. And that's where research comes in. Asking good questions, an introduction to authentic research. So, what is research? Research is simply a process that involves asking strong questions, conducting research from reputable, credible sources, formulating your own opinion, and creating a piece of original writing that expresses that opinion. So, really, it's just an occasion to look up something that interests you. And I know this sounds like it might be hard within the parameters of an assignment that your teacher gave to you, or that is part of a curriculum or a task, but within those parameters, you have a chance to pursue answers to questions that you might be interested in. That's really what sophisticated researchers, such as professors or scientists, do. They're simply finding questions to answers they care about within a certain field. A challenge to figure out is how to make your personal interests fit into the parameters of a school assignment or assigned topic. It might sound difficult, but you can do it. Step one is asking good questions. So you're going to start by choosing a general research area that fits the assignment. Don't worry, I have a graphic organizer that will help you do this. Then you're going to formulate research questions that are debatable. You can argue them, and they have been argued. In order to present textual evidence, facts, statistics, anecdotes, someone has to have argued it in the past. You can't research from nothing. Everything we do is building off the human experience of the people who came before us. They have to be narrow. In order to have a credible or trustworthy answer, you will have to have a narrow or specific question. They have to be significant. Something has to be at stake or matter to someone. And they have to be researchable. You have to be able to find relevant, credible sources. If you can't find anything, it will be hard to build off those ideas. For the following questions, determine whether they meet the criteria for a good research question. For the purposes of these example questions, the assignment was about discovering how, why, or how best people learn. And then these students jumped off from there. So they took the parameters of their assignment about learning and thought about ways that they could make it fit something they might be interested in. Example 1. Is school good? This is not a good research question. It doesn't meet any of the criteria. It's not researchable. The word good doesn't really tell me anything. I mean, are we looking at good in terms of students' opinions? Good for society? It's not nearly narrow enough. And it's pretty hard to debate because you can't really build off of this statement with clear facts or evidence. However, have changes in technology impacted the way students learn? This one, you might have thought was a good research question. It's a little tricky. It isn't really debatable. You have to add negatively or positively before impacted. Then we have something. Let's look at another example. Does school start time negatively affect teen and adolescents' ability to succeed? This would be a good research question. It's debatable. I could argue for or against it. It is narrow. All of the ideas are really clear. It's significant. It matters to someone. And I could do some research about this. Let's look at a couple more examples. How about this one? Does participation in school athletics positively affect students' classroom learning? This is also a good research question. Can you identify how it meets all of the criteria? Why do kids think reading sucks? Not a good research question. Not only is it difficult to measure suckage, but how do you research this? Why do students often have negative associations with free reading? This would be a good research question. Can you identify how it meets all of the criteria? Is it debatable, narrow, significant, researchable? Now that we've looked at several examples, let's review. Research is a way to find your interests in a specific field. Asking good questions is essential to conducting research. Good research questions are debatable, you can argue them, narrow, very specific. You don't want to have too broad of an answer, otherwise you're going to have to do a lot of research to narrow it down. And significant. And finally, and most obviously, researchable. You have to be able to find relevant, credible sources. So now, get those wheels turning and thinking about what you could research. Go look at the assignment prompt and fill out the graphic organizer to try to develop your own good research question. It's time to do some learning, hopefully about something you're at least a little bit interested in.